You'd be good in the Empire.
Hey everyone, so today I'm here with a very special guest. It is my son, the
Hello.
Stormtrooper. What's it done for you for a 9-year-old who's currently going to school?
You teach me a little bit more of what they don't teach me.
If something's being spoken about in the classroom, do you feel that you can disagree?
Loads of people in my class, they agree with what the teacher says. If I disagree, I kind of feel pressured because all the other people will just keep on staring at me. I prefer learning physical stuff to make your mental health and everything be better than learning stuff that you might not need to use in life. I was playing with my friend and he said, "Do you want to start your own business with me?" And I was like, "Okay, I'm not sure, so I might do videography and all." Then he said, "Well, you need to go to university to do videography and get a good degree." And I said, "No, you don't." I said, "Well, for example, my dad, he earns a lot of money. And he doesn't go to university."
What's the value to money to you as a 9-year-old?
Have a good lifestyle. You can afford good things. You can use it for good things.
As a 9-year-old, 3 big top tips for other young people that perhaps want to eventually maybe go and start their own business, go into entrepreneurship.
Confidence, motivation, stick to the thing that you want and like to do.
Hey everyone, so today I'm here with a very special guest. It is my son, the
Hello.
Stormtrooper. So we're not going to use your name. We're just going to refer to you as Trooper. There you go. You all right with that?
Sounds like I'm from Mario.
From Mario. Okay. Well, you're actually from Star Wars. So
And I do.
Disney were coming for you. So we're talking today. We're going to cover off education, a little bit of finance, business, what Daddy does, how you find school, what you learn from being around Dad, also who Daddy's around. Prime example, we're here with Jason and his son. And as you can see, Jason's also, Jason's one of Daddy's sponsors as well. So
Jason.
Let's kick it off with, how do you find listening in, or what do you feel when you listen into a lot of Daddy's conversations in terms of hearing about business a lot? What's it done for you for a 9-year-old who's currently going to school? Has it opened your mind a little bit more?
Well, yeah, because unlike school, you kind of teach me a little bit more. You teach me a little bit more of what they don't teach me.
Yeah.
So it's good for my education as well as learning a little bit from school.
Yeah, that's a really good answer. And I think it's nice to have that blend, because do you remember I showed you a video recently? We'll show Jason and his son, unless you've already seen it, there was a guy talking in front of an audience. Do you remember saying phones have advanced, cars have advanced, houses have got better, everything's got better, but then when it went back to the classroom,
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. And I think obviously I'm always teaching you, and as we just heard Jason, what he's teaching his son, and actually what his son already knows now, is that awareness of, if we look at a school setup, you go in for 8 hours, you all sit in a line, you put your hands up.
I go there for 6 hours.
That's correct. You might as well ask me the questions.
Yeah.
You go there for 6 hours and, you put your hand up, obviously, to ask questions. And typically, from what I found when I was at school, and I think it is very much the same, is that
straight line and desks.
Yeah, everything's very much in order and hasn't really evolved. Obviously, you're told when you have your breaks. You're told when you eat your lunch, and you're obviously told when to be back. And I think...
And we have to put our hand up to ask to go to the toilet.
There is that. And that's one thing that Daddy talks a lot about. I don't want to ask...
I am going to the toilet.
Hey?
If I need to go to the toilet, I am going to the toilet.
Well, and rightly so. And you should go to the toilet when you want to go to. And that's obviously what I talk a lot about, is if you want to eat or you want to go to the toilet and you want to be 25 minutes in there, which you are sometimes... so be it. So, and that's obviously having that freedom. And obviously, as you get into adulthood, it's, it'd be called financial freedom, which gives you that time back. How do you feel about asking questions in the classroom? Because on the way up here, we were talking about, if something's being spoken about in the classroom, do you feel that you can disagree?
It's kind of hard to say this because in my school, loads of people in my class, they agree with what the teacher says. If I disagree, I kind of feel pressured because all the other people will just keep on staring at me till I answer, so it's kind of awkward for me.
Yeah, I totally get that. I remember being at school, and if you were the one that spoke out, you're almost seen as the odd one out.
Yeah.
And that's also very much a similar feeling to how people, and when Dad talks about employment and the issues in there, is that if there's a meeting and that person speaks out like Daddy would, everyone then points the finger and has a look at, for example, Daddy, because he would speak up and say, actually, I don't agree. So it's the similar feeling that you're getting in the classroom.
Yeah, so it's just weird because you should be able to disagree without no one thinking anything of it.
Yeah.
Like, you should just be able to disagree and they'll accept it and respect your decision. But what they're saying in that is because they want you to agree.
Yeah. Do you feel that the respect levels, so Daddy talks a lot about respect, doesn't he? Obviously, you know, you respect everyone, you get on with a lot of people.
I can make friends easily.
Yeah, that's a really important trait, is to get on with people. I always turn around and say, Daddy's not the smartest. Daddy didn't do very well in school.
Don't like maths.
No, I can't stand maths. Granddad's good at maths, but he's old school maths. I can't do maths. I've never been good at that. But as Jason and his son were saying, you can leverage other people's skills and who they know, but in order to do that, you need to be likable. So that's a trait that you've got. How have you found from kids that you know that perhaps aren't as likable to obviously you, who can pretty much get on with everyone? How do you find that?
So I don't really know how to explain that, really. It's kind of hard because loads of people in my school, they don't like people and they like people. So sometimes my friends don't like me on the first day. Then they like me on the next day. I'm like, what's happened? What's happened? Have you keeping a secret from me? Are you eating something that you don't want to share? Like what? Because I'm hungry. Give me the food.
Feel confused at times. Does school make you feel confused?
Oh yeah, most of the time, yeah. Because usually if I'm like in a maths lesson and I go out for like another lesson, I come back in and they say get on, and they say like go on with the work. I'm like, well, I don't know what's happened, and they say, yeah, well, we learned that, and I said, no, we haven't. We have not learned this. I haven't.
This is one of the things. So when Dad was at school, as you know now, I learned through being around the right people. I listen to a lot of Audible books, don't I? And I watch YouTube, listen to a lot.
Audible.
Yeah, I love Audible, and I listen to a lot of podcasts, but I'm very keen. I'm a very hands-on kind of learning person. So I prefer to go out and do it and try it, make mistakes. I think the hard thing about school, and I want to hear what you've got to say on this, is that sometimes the way that they teach you, because you're teaching multiple people in a classroom of, say, 30 people, you know, everyone's different and you don't all learn the same. And that's one of the things that I found hard, is I'm not good at opening up a bit of paper and working out sums and stuff like that. How are you finding that at school?
Opening up a piece of paper and working out sums, like you just said, I find quite tricky, because I prefer learning different stuff, like physical stuff, to make like your mental health and everything be better.
Right.
Than learning stuff that you might not need to use in life.
Yeah.
So like PE, love PE, that's my favourite. And can I say this? Is it like break? That's kind of socialising, so that's kind of a lesson. Yeah.
Yeah, break.
And lunch.
Yeah, and that's a really important skill, is obviously speaking with people and having good communication, which you are very good at. And, you know, that's one thing that we're very proud of, is that you can basically make friends. You can go into a park with no one.
And I can just say hello. You want to play, and 2 hours later we're still playing.
Yeah, and that's a very key part about going into adulthood, especially into entrepreneurship and business, is leveraging other people's skill sets.
Yeah,
yeah, and being able to influence people to help you on your journey, but also trying to help them as well, which you're very big on, is helping other people. What's your thoughts on maybe what you want to be when you grow up? I know you see a lot of what I do and you know what I'm up to, but how do you see, or what would you like to do when you're older?
So I've got two things: YouTuber, which can be a very good business,
yeah,
and a videographer.
And
those are good.
And actually, I think videography you'd be very good at, and you're very creative. So
editing my stop motions.
Yeah, it was quite funny as well. When I picked you up from school, one of your friends came out to me and one of his friends said to me, is Stormtrooper going to university? And I said, well, it's totally up to him. And then he asked me, one of his friends, before you came out of school, came up to me and went, did you go to university and college? And I said, no, I didn't. And he said, oh, well, I was trying to tell him that he should be going to uni. And I said, well, we'll see. You know, it's up to him. But I just said to your friend that there are plenty of other options.
Yeah. So what I was saying, really, so the following day I was playing with my friend and he said, when we were doing PE, he said, do you want to start your own business with me? And I was like, okay, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. So I might do like videography and all that. And then he said, well, you need to go to university to do videography and get a good like degree. And I said, no, you don't. He said, yeah, you do. To earn good money, go to university. And I said, well, for example, my dad, he earns a lot of money and he doesn't go to university. What?
It's essentially, it's more about where you're heading, like the direction and what you're able to do and how quick you can grow opposed to the money that you earn first off. But that's the thing. When you work for yourself or you start your own business, you aren't capped, which means you aren't limited to how fast you can grow or how progression happens is basically at the speed that you want to work at. Whereas when you go into a job, what I try and make you aware of is that there are formal steps and there are things and hoops you have to jump through just to get a promotion. And that promotion, in my eyes and my experience, only normally brings more hassle, more responsibility, but the pay doesn't match it.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. I agree with that as much as you can say that, because just the way I see it, like you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of things do you enjoy? So other than YouTube and videography, if you were looking at a career, because, employment is very much needed, what other things do you have an interest in?
It's kind of hard to say that because that's basically the main things I want to do. But if we put that aside, I guess I'd like to do like...
You like your sport?
I love sport, so maybe like a football player.
Football player, yeah? Well, you better start practicing because at the moment you don't do any football.
Yeah, I do some at school and basketball.
You're good at boxing. You're a very good boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a very good boxer. So I think...
Hands.
Yeah. So I think if you wanted a career in boxing, I think you could have a career in boxing. So let's ask some final questions. When it comes to money and your understanding of money and how that works, I will always talk a lot about there's a necessity for money and that nothing really happens without any money. What are your views, putting aside what you hear sort of Dad talk about, what are your views on money of what you know and kind of where are you seeing? What's the value to money to you as a 9-year-old?
So it's a very good source of life that you can have.
So you can have a good lifestyle if you have money.
Yeah, you can have a good lifestyle. You can afford good things. You can use it for good things.
Yeah.
Put some things aside if you want to. Maybe like give that to charity or like the homeless.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, you can make smart investments. We put money aside for you, don't we? And you enjoy holidays. You're absolutely right. So you can enjoy nice things. And you enjoyed your Chinese last night, didn't you?
Oh yeah, that was so good.
And your Persian
Chicken
the night before,
satay.
yeah?
Chicken satay.
So if one of your friends then was to say to you, right, let's start a business together, where do you think the first steps to starting a business? As a 9-year-old, what do you think you need to do to start a business?
Here we go. Well, the first steps I think would definitely be starting like a platform like you did.
Yeah, good answer.
Something. You can stick to that for a little while because that will give you good money to upgrade to things. So, like, because you have Peak Performance and like the Round Table.
Mm-hmm.
I know how you started it off, so...
branding.
Yeah, branding.
So getting your name out there.
Yeah, getting your name out there. Trying to get good people.
I was going to
like
say that next.
sponsors, like Jason.
Yeah.
Good sponsor, isn't he?
He's the best. Good people around you, so that helps.
Yep, and just motivation.
Yeah, so staying in a good mindset. Because it's hard, isn't it? Daddy has some stressful days sometimes.
Yeah.
But
and
it's
I
that-
cheer you up with COD.
That's it, yeah, when we play COD to cheer me up.
Oh, my dad.
Cool. So any youngsters watching, what would you let's give us 3 big top tips as a 9-year-old, 3 big top tips for other young people that perhaps want to eventually maybe go and start their own business, go into entrepreneurship, be creative. What 3 top tips come to mind if you're gonna, and you can look into the main camera that's staring at you. 3 big top tips, nice and clear.
Confidence,
Have confidence.
motivation,
Yeah.
and stick to the thing that you want and like to do.
So consistency. Never give up.
Yeah.
Great.
Stick to your dream and that will work.
Awesome. Well, best guest by far, Stormtrooper.
Say that again.
Stormtrooper Knightley. There we go. We did it. So well done.
Can I do like a little outro after?
You run an outro.
Okay, so do I do it right now, yeah?
Do it right now.
Yes, do it right now. You'd be good in the Empire.